This next playlist we're going to look at multiplication and division. And I'm going to assume you can do things like 2 times 7 or 3 times 2 or 5 times 9 and things like single digit multiplication, but might struggle with double digit multiplications, for example 27 times 4 or 52 times 37. And the same with division. So I'm going to assume that you can do things like 16 divided by 2 or 21 divided by 3, but might struggle with something like 72 divided by 3. And in a couple of playlist times, we'll also look at things like decimals as well. So let's have a little look at multiplication. And we're going to do something like, let's go for 23 times 27. Now, when we've got this sum, we first of all draw almost like a noughts and crosses grid. But we've got 2 digits, so that's 2 lines, and another 2 digits is another 2 lines with a cross in the corner. Again, almost like noughts and crosses, but instead of writing zeros and crosses and playing a game, we're going to write 20 and 3 and 20 and 7. So that's like saying 20 plus 3 is 23 and 20 plus 7 is 27. We then, with our multiplication, we need to only know up to 9 times 9. But the 10 timetable is not that difficult. So let's start with our first one. And we ignore the zeros. So the zeros we ignore. And we just got 2 times 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. And then we put on extra zeros, which we just ignored. So there's a 0 there and a 0 there. So we've got 2 zeros to put on. We've got 2 times 3. So 2 times 3 is 6, so we're ignoring the 0 initially, so 2 times 3, and then we put on a 0 to get 60. 2 times 7 is 14, and then we've got this extra 0. And then 7 times 3 is 21. Once we've got our numbers, knocking the table out, we just add our numbers up. So we've got 400, 60, 140, and 21. And it doesn't matter which order you do this adding up, but you need to make sure you get all these 4 numbers in. If you later on, we'll look at ones where you might have to add 6 numbers together. Now, the important thing is make sure you get all of them. It doesn't make a difference. Just think about it. If you got 2 plus 3, which is 5, or 3 plus 2, which is 5, the order you do those in doesn't make any difference. We then add up from our right, working to our left. So zeros we ignore pretty much, and we just go for the 1. We've got 6 plus 4 is 10, plus our 2 is 12, so we write a 1 and a 2. We've got 4 plus 1 is 5, plus our extra 1 is 6. So our answer to 23 plus times 27 is 621. Okay, so let's look at another multiplication. But this time we could have something like 139 times by 26. And this time we've got 3 digits multiplied by a 2-digit number. So we do 3 lines in one direction, doesn't matter which direction you do it in, and then 2 lines in the other and across. Now, because I've done 3 lines in that direction, I've got 3 holes to fill, that's where the 139 will go. So we put 139. The best way to think about it is just say it slowly, 139. And we've got 26. And then all we do is our 2 times 1 is 2. And we've got 1, 2, 3 zeros to put on. Got 2 times 3 is 6, and we've got 2 zeros to put on. 2 times 9 is 18, with an extra 0 to put on. 1 times 6 is 6, with 2 zeros. 6 times 3 is 18, with a 0, and 6 times 9 is 54. We then, like the last one, have to just add up our numbers. So we add up these 6 numbers now. So we've got 2,600 180, another 600. We also have another 180 and a 54. So all I've done is added along and then added along and written down that. We then add it up, so the zeros just disappear. We just get 4. 8 plus 8 is 16. Plus our 5 is 21. So we put a 2 down there and 1 there. So it's writing it diagonally. You can see that? Yeah. Then you've got 6 plus 1 is 7. Plus another 6 is 13. Plus the 1 is 14. Plus our 2 is 16. So you can put 1 and a 6 like that. We then just get the 2 plus our 1 is a 3. So our answer to 139 times 26 is 3,614. So those two are examples of multiplication. Let's have a quick look at some division. So move that away, put that there. And let's go, for example, 94 divided by 2. Now this is what's called the bus stop method. So we do our division and we put 94 inside the bus stop because that's what we're going to need to divide, and we divide by 2. And the important thing with our divisions actually is to know our times tables. I'm going to write out our 2 times table because it's nice and quick and easy. It's the reason why I've done this for my first example. 16, 18, 20. Is I look at one number at a time. So I cover over the ones after, and I actually start this time on the left. And I go, how many 2s can I fit into 9? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lots of 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. So I can put a 4 at the top. And then I go, okay, well 4 times 2 is 8. So it's kind of like saying I've eaten 8 sweets out of 9. How many have I got left? Well, I've got 1. So I put a little 1 in the top corner there. I then ignore what I've just done. And I've only effectively got 14 left. And I just do the next digit. So 14 divided by 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is 7. So our answer to 92 divided by 4 is 47. Let's have a go at another one, where we go something like 50. Let's go over 57 divided by 3. Well, 57 divided by 3. Okay, we do the bus stop method, and 57 and 3. Let's quickly write out 3 times table. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27 and 30. And don't worry if you can't work those out that quickly. The more you practice your times tables, the quicker you'll come. And you only need to know up to 9 times 9. Anything beyond there is a luxury in terms of maths. We look at our first number, so we cover over the 7. Nothing to worry about for the moment. I think, how many 3s can I fit into 5? Well, number 3s I can fit into 5 is 1, and I've got 2 left. I then ignore the one we just worked out, and then I go, how many 3s can I fit into 27? Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is 9. So, therefore, we've got 57 divided by 3 is 19. Now let's have a look at one last division. We've got something like 172 divided by 4. Then write out 4 times table, so 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. And it's good to each time write out your 4 times table, or write out whichever times table you need for a division, rather than flicking back a couple of pages to another one you've done in the past. Because the more times you practice it, the better you'll get, the quicker you'll get, and you're less likely to make mistakes. So again, we do the nice bus stop method. 172, and we're dividing that by 4. And my first one is, how many 4s do I fit into 1? And this is a bit like going, well, how many people can you can't do that. You can't fit any 4s into 1. You can't go, I've got 1 suite, I'll share it out between 4 people, because none of them like that. So you put a 0 at the top, and I've still got my 1 suite left, so I put the 1 there. Now, the one common mistake people often make is I'll put like a 3 there, or a 4 there, or something not what it should be. And the one way to realise it, if there's a 0 at the top, this number, which is 17, should be this number, which is also 17. And they should be the same. And I go, how many 4s fit into 17? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've got 1 left over. And how many 4s fit into 12? 1, 2, 3. So our answer to 172 divided by 4 is 43. And I ignore the 0. The very last quick thing we're going to look at is with decimals. And decimal divisions are quite easy. And we could do something like, let's stick with the 4s again. So I'll move them up. Let's go for 23 divided by 4. So I'll quickly write out 4 times table. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36 and 40. Do our bus stop method, and 23 divided by 4. And we go, how many 4s fit into 2? Well, they don't. I've got 2 left over. How many 4s fit into 23? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I've got a few left over. So what I do, I put a decimal point top and bottom. Because at the moment we have 23. And then we put some zeros on. Normally we put maximum of 3. We then go, okay, 23 divided by 4 was 5, and I've got 3 left over. So I had 23, I've eaten 20 of them, that's the difference of 3. And I'll just carry on. So how many 4s fit into 30? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7, which used up 28 of the 30. And I've got 2 left. How many 4s fit into 20? Well, that's 5. So our answer to 23 divided by 4, that is 5.75. Now, have a go with these multiplications and divisions. See if you get them correct. And let's see how well you can do.